will unlock opportunities that hitherto were thought.
The national president of NURTW, Alhaji Dr. Najim Usman Yassim Makama Gusau, commissioned a multi-purpose conference hall built by NURTW Niger State Council.
On behalf of the national headquarters and 10 members of the union throughout the federation, we commend the present leadership of this union in Niger State.
The president of NURTW with other dignitaries then proceeded to commission the multi-purpose conference hall.
Bismillah, Allah. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
The president of NURTW, Alhaji Dr. Najim Usman Yassim Makama Gusau, paid a courtesy visit to His Excellency Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawale Marudun, Executive Governor of Zamfara State. The president used the opportunity to congratulate him on his deserved victory as the governor of Zamfara State and assured him that the union will collaborate with him to ensure that his government succeeds. He appealed for vehicles for his members at a subsidized rate in order to assist Zamfara citizens to ease transportation and boost the economy of the state. In his response, the governor appreciated the vital role the union played towards the success of his ambition and emphasized that the role of the union in conveying passengers, goods, and services has been assisting the state and the economy nationwide. The governor assured the leadership of NURTW, despite the limpers of the state government would endeavor to provide substantial vehicle to the union at a subsidized rate to complement and boost the economy of Zamfara State. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibajo, SAN, vital role. The beneficiaries include past leaders.
It is for this.
We wish to come.
Patrice Talon of Benin Republic has visited President Muhammadu Buhari to seek for understanding and possible intervention. The crucial engagement took place on the sidelines of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. Again, Adamu Sambo reports that the Nigerian leader also met President Ramaphosa over killings of Nigerians in South Africa.
For President Patrice Talon of the Republic of Benin, it is a matter of urgency to meet President Muhammadu Buhari for the second time in 3 months. The recent closure of the Nigeria-Benin border by the federal government to put a stop to smuggling activities is causing great difficulties for his country's economy. During the high-level meeting, which lasted about 1 hour behind closed doors, the two leaders discussed reasons for the action by the Nigerian government and the way forward, as explained by Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama.
Mr. President is extremely concerned that now that Nigeria, through our agricultural policies, has become self-sufficient in rice production, that this is now threatened, and a lot of Nigerians are now going back to the farm and finding that it's profitable to work, in the rural areas and on farming, and that this is an existential threat to the country to allow this smuggling to persist at that scale. And, he said that the amount of money that we are now saving from no longer having to use our scarce foreign currency and reserves to buy foreign rice. So that the measures are really taken to enable the security forces to develop a strategy and to know exactly how the smugglers operate, where they operate from. And this was a limited closure. The president of Benin, really expressed the greatest concern about the border closure, talked about the very severe impact on the country.
So what did our president tell you?
Yes, so our president said that he's going to go back and he's taken note of the suffering of Benin and the people of Benin, and that he would look at reopening the border in the not too distant future, and then he would call a meeting of himself, the president of Benin, and the president of Niger, and to now really decide on the measures, strict measures that they would now have to take to really curtail the level of smuggling.
In the meantime, President Cyril Ramaphosa of the Republic of South Africa also came calling at President Buhari's lodge in Yokohama. It was a one-on-one engagement between the two leaders that lasted more than 30 minutes, but reasons were not made public. NTA News could not, however, allow the South African leader to depart without a word on his mission.
Oh, no, we had a good visit, good discussions. The relations between South Africa and Nigeria are very good, and the president and I get on very well. So it was also good to have this opportunity here in Japan to renew the bonds between us and to talk about common things between South Africa and Nigeria. And we know that we have to play a very key role in the further development of the continent. And that's what we are prepared to do as Nigeria and South Africa.
We understand President Buhari is visiting South Africa in October. But before then, what are you doing about the continuous killing of Nigerians in your country?
Well, no, we are going to be discussing all that. And because we have such good relations, we talk about these things. And the issue of Nigerians who are dying in South Africa, we feel very sad about that. And obviously our criminal justice system is working on it. We want to stop all killings. Nobody should ever be killed, even if there's a dispute amongst people.
From Yokohama, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And back home, the federal government of Nigeria has approved the decrease of visa charges payable by U.S. citizens to $160. In a statement issued by the Office of the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola stated that in line with reciprocity policy adopted by the United States of America's Embassy and the Nigerian government, U.S. immigrants applying for visa is now to pay $160 accordingly. The Comptroller General of Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, Mohammed Babandede, has been directed to implement the decrease in Nigeria's visa charges to U.S. citizens with effect from Thursday, 29th August 2019. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is presiding over the first economic management team meeting of President Buhari's second term themed Next Level Agenda. Budget issues. In attendance are Ministers of Finance, Budget, National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, Industry, Trade, Investment, Richard Adebayo, Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Works, Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Budget, National Planning, State, Clement Ike, and the Minister of Petroleum, State, Timi Pre-Silva. Also in the meeting are the CBN Governor, NNPC GMD, FIRS Chairman, DG Budget, DG DMO, DG NBS, Special Advisor on Economic Matters, among others. The meeting opens with a review of the 2019 budget implementation. The clamor to bring to fruition the proposed plan by the federal government to review the revenue allocation formula has been receiving and throwing up diverse positions in different stratas of the society. Guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, says objectivity and not subjectivity should be the guiding principle. Patricia Esamiluba tells us more.
The federal government is set to review the revenue allocation formula. The current revenue allocation formula is put at 52.68% for federal, 26.72% for states, and 20.60% for local governments, which is in a vertical order. The plan is expected to allow the states and the local governments get more money to expand and increase the scope of revenue collection. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje's perspective aligns with the plan, which he said will allow the states to take ownership of exploring and driving their own matters of development.
The vertical distribution, the horizontal distribution, and also the derivation issue. These three areas need to be examined seriously in order to have a fair distribution of revenue.
Whatever system we put in place, that attitude that we carry into governance or followers is key to bringing a resolution to all the issues we are discussing.
Because of the humongous amount available at their disposal, you have so many idle agencies here and there that don't have any bearing with the life of the common man.
Chairman, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, Elias Mbam, in his submission stressed the need for the review to be done taking into cognizance the current situations in the country, which is totally different from when the allocation formula was created.
The desert encroachment has increased, erosion problem has increased, flooding. Security wasn't such an issue then, but now it's a major issue.
They made submissions pointing to the fact that there is a disconnect between the different levels of government that needs to be addressed for clearer responsibility and optimal performance. Patricia Esamiluba, NTA News.
And one of the expectations by the civil society organizations, organized private sector and the general public is that the inauguration of ministers by President Muhammadu Buhari will bring about a robust economic growth through the contributions of the various sectors. But to achieve this, guests on NTA Tuesday Live say there must not be a gap between government functionaries and those they are serving. Doing Dia reports.
The May 29, 2019 inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari for his second term in office came with so much expectations, the fulfillment of campaign promises on one end and anticipation for the formation of the president's cabinet on the other end, all of which are tailored towards the betterment of the Nigerian people. And so, the inauguration of 43 ministers just about 90 days of President Muhammadu Buhari's swearing in came with a sense of relief for Nigerians. But how well the cabinet members will drive the next level agenda of the president is a question on the minds of many. Guests on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live say such objective may not be far-reaching if there is a collective cooperation from key players.
The government, by its economic recovery and growth plan and other policy documents, actually commits to public-private partnership.
reassessing the situation, giving new directives, and the situation is under control.
So let's all of us come together and head on, hold our ministers accountable. If any minister misbehaves,
with huge expectations for the Nigeria's economy to compete favorably with those of the advanced countries, the guest made a case for change of attitude to governance and patronage of made-in-Nigerian products.
The market woman in the market shall not cheat a customer.
Whatever you do, everybody has something to do to contribute to making this country great.
And with the government already manning the plow for the tax ahead, discussants are optimistic that the next level agenda will be remarkable. In Abuja, Doing, Dia, NT News.
Meanwhile, it is said that continuity is good, and when a former and an incumbent sit together to rub minds, be sure of success. That's why it is good to see it happening in the Ministry of Interior, where the former minister, Abdurrahman Dambazo, met with his successor, Rauf Aregbesola, in Abuja. Again, Doing Dia has the report.
The former Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, called for the cooperation of all the security agencies to ensure that the already laid and structured by the federal government for internal security is sustained.
Because the challenges will always be there, but if they don't come together and continue to collaborate, to cooperate, then it makes it even more difficult.
In a related development, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola says Nigerians should expect a more peaceful atmosphere for economic and social activities.
We monitor the implementation of those policies by agencies, and we equally supervise the implementation of policies, programs, and projects. But all of these are geared towards what? Ensuring safety for Nigerians and security of Nigeria internally.
When it comes to diligent, hard work, tenacity of whatever, the staffs are very willing.
The meeting is the first since the minister assumed office. The security sector has often taken precedence on the to-do list of the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. After all, there can be a meaningful social economic development without the provision of adequate security. In Abuja, Doing, Dia, NT News.
Now, thank you very much, Doing. I'm going to start by asking this question now. Who is your neighbor? Have you taken the time to interact with your neighbor? In a world where people are increasingly falling victims to criminal activities, it is important for every person to be security conscious. Elizabeth Yilalamido looks at the need to know your neighbors and how detrimental it could be sometimes when people fail to be security conscious.
A good neighborhood is one that is caring, cohesive, safe, and beautiful. It is also where neighbors greet one another with warm smiles and take ownership of the neighborhood they live in. Unfortunately, in this modern age, people find it difficult to interact with their neighbors due to varied reasons.
But, sometimes you live with people in a compound. Sometimes it takes you like 2 years, 3 years before you can even find out what they do for a living. Sometimes some people want to keep to themselves and all that.
It's very important to have, to know everybody among the neighborhood so that if a stranger comes to you, you know who he is and what he's there for.
You'll be asking people maybe who they are and what they are. They may be thinking that you may be planning something evil to them. That's why I don't actually bother myself to know some, but to some, I actually know them and their businesses.
This is the area that the kidnapped kingpin Hamisu Wadume was arrested in the late hours of August 19th in his hideout at Layime Allo, Otoro area of Kano State. Efforts by NTA to speak to some of his neighbors on camera proved abortive as they declined speaking due to security reasons. They, however, said they made effort to speak with him immediately he moved into the area, which he played a gentleman by agreeing to introduce members of his family to them. Unfortunately, the long hand of the law caught up with him that same day. It is clear that people need to take measures towards securing their communities by knowing their neighbors and ensuring the safety of their lives and property.
But we have done a lot in terms of reducing crime and criminality with the restructuring and overhauling through the Operation Popper. That is a quick response, swift response. We have brought it in. All our tactical units, we have made them ever before to respond quickly in terms of any distress call. But the most important thing is having a very robust public engagement.
Even though no place is immune to crime, but when people make out time to know their neighbors, it will go a long way in having a secure community. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
You've said it all, Elizabeth. This is really important for us to know our neighbors and also interact with them once in a while. Now, Senate President Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan has visited 6 local government areas under his constituency in northern Yobe State, where he commiserated with recent victims of flood disasters and fire outbreak in Guru Market. Mustafa Yusuf reports that this is his maiden visit to the state since his inauguration as Senate President in June this year.
It was indeed a cheering homecoming to the Senate President Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, an indigene of Gashotan, headquarters of Bade local government area of Yobe State. At Unguru town, the Senate President visited the central market and donated 5 million naira to traders who suffered losses as a result of fire outbreak. This is in addition to sympathizing with the victims of flood disasters in Afunori and Zongon Shanu in Guru local government, as well as those in Tagali, in Bade, and Karswa local government areas. The Senate President, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, and Yobe State Governor, Maimala Buni, agreed to work together and other relevant federal government agencies to provide immediate and long-term support to people affected by the recent flood disasters in the state.
We know that so much distractions have taken place within this local government, by the local government, and we are already trying to see how we can help the affected communities. My office has already written to NEMA for immediate delivery of some relief to the people that are affected.
That's why we are here to see to ourselves what happened and to assess it and to take necessary measures to address the situation.
The President of the Ninth Assembly was also on hand, holding stakeholders meeting in all areas visited, where he assured people of his resolve to sustain and consolidate on initiatives such as increasing number of tertiary institution sponsorship to qualify candidates to 1,000 from 500, as well as facilitating other meaningful development.
I'm very grateful to the people of my senatorial district for the very warm and arousing reception that I received in all the 3 local governments that I've visited so far.
The visit did not end without the Senate President Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan meeting with royal fathers, as he was at the palaces of emirs of Nguru, Bade, Machina, and Iswari to appreciate them and their people for their support to President Muhammadu Buhari and his Senate presidency. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Now, what plays a vital role to the overall development of the society? I guess you will all have different answers. Well, when News Extra returns from this break, you find out if your answer or your guess was right. Please stay.
You know, from day one, Globe makes life easier. They brought us per second billing, unbelievable data packages, and even an optic fiber cable to make sure we optimize. There are 2 things in our lives we depend on daily: communication and information, voice and data. Whether you sell, buy, learn, teach, serve, or lead, it really comes down to those 2 things, voice or data. Today's world is all about you. You want what you want, how you want it, and Glow delivers. The freedom to use voice and data the way you like on every recharge. Easy.
Glow Yakata, the heavyweight voice and data plan. Recharge from 100 Naira and get a minimum 500 Naira to call all networks, plus up to 6 gigabytes of data to browse, chit-chat, WhatsApp, and more. Dial *230# or buy your Glow SIM. Glow Unlimited.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Mommy, that smells wonderful. What's your secret?
Do you want to know?
Yes.
Kiss, please.
Mwah.
I guess this jollof deserves something bigger.
Oh,
that's big.
Ooh, that's the biggest cube I've ever seen.
Bigger is better.
Discover new Geno Max, 25% bigger for a greater aroma and a richer taste.
Wow, that's big. Bigger is better.
New Geno Max 5 gram seasoning cube, chicken and spice flavors. Bigger is better.
As part of his vision of developing a core of well-trained workforce to sustain the fight against corruption in Nigeria, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in conjunction with the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, is set to mark the passing of by invitation. Oh?
Deplorable condition, begging for urgent attention.
A 2-1 assignment to Agbara, myself, and the cameraman. Our journey to the industrial capital of Ogun State through Lagos State was relatively easy. However, same cannot be said of our return trip to Abeokuta via Lusada Atonta Sango Road, where we came face to face with the ugly and daily reality of road users along their corridor. Agbara.
Have anybody to
commercial vehicles amongst others.
And we also have to work with the union to further, now that the union is computerizing, digitalizing the passengers management, which is very good for me. They must be linked to the database, to the accident database of the call, so that prompt rescue, and we revive it again by providing the CUG numbers, telephones to all your
or smoked. Now, talking of a smoked fish, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is supporting Nigeria to boost smoked fish production for export. Interesting. But what is it that attracted the UN agency to Nigeria's smoked fish business? Well, here is Musa Babaliu with that.
Nigeria has a total fish production output of more than 1 million tons per annum. Majority of the fish is consumed domestically, where fish, also known as smoked.
Federal government assured that Directorate Petard Sharon Ikiazu gave this assurance at the inauguration of the
transformation agenda of the federal government. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Broadcast media practitioners are strategizing on ways to improve content quality to meet current global digital trend. This was at a 2-day digital broadcast media convention in Lagos. Adeola Omokive reports that the convention is a collaboration between a broadcasting organization of Nigeria and Broadcast Media Africa.
The Digital Broadcast Media Convention is a platform for Nigeria's fast-growing broadcast industry to meet and network. Speakers were unanimous in saying that the use of satellite and social media to broadcast contents cannot be overemphasized.
It's really about content rights, how much exclusivity you have, what you can pay for. Are you paying for highlights?
Fed now provides us. It's basically, it's a lot of information that we can use to guide whatever we produce.
A panel of industry leaders shed more light on how to leverage on the media consumption changes to their benefits. Others dwelt on the role of broadcast media in security and justice reforms, appropriate funding and financing to drive innovative media platforms and services in Nigeria. How can the NTA and other media organizations benefit from the convention?
We are every day doing linear TV. Can we do non-linear TV? Say, for instance, can we take advantage of the immense internet connection that we have to try to see if we can do OTT? Can we do IPTV TV? So these are all the possibilities that we are looking at.
It therefore behoves on broadcast practitioners to be creative and embrace the Nigerianness in their content production to meet viewers' expectations. In Lagos, Adeyola Omokive, NTA.
And the ongoing joint border security exercise codenamed X-Swift Response enters its 9th day of operation. Mohammed Abdul Qadri has a review of the exercise.
This is Semeland border in the southwest Nigeria. It is one of the 4 geopolitical zones where Exercise Swift Response, being coordinated by the National Security Advisor, are ongoing. According to the Nigeria Customs Service Public Relations Officer, Joseph Atta, in a telephone interview, the operation has a geopolitical spread across all borders. Atta said the exercise being led by the Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigeria Immigration Service is in collaboration with the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the police and intelligence agencies. Its overall objective, according to him, is to promote interagency cooperation and increase preparedness to address transborder security challenges, especially to block unapproved corridors. A security expert applauds the initiative of the federal government in this regard.
It shows that the federal government is sitting up in terms of the security challenges we are having in the border areas, southwest border, northwest border, and of course certainly the problems of the northeast border are very well known, and then certainly southeast borders also.
Implementing the operational directive for the exercise, movement of migrants possessing valid documents are unhindered through the borders. In Lagos, Muhammad Abdul Qadri, NTA News.
When we return after the break,
at the crack of dawn, they in the blistering heat of the despicable. We are our brothers and cousins and neighbors.
No, I don't have.